Okay, and welcome to a quick workshop on some advanced Moodle options. I'm not going to be able to dig into all of these and walk you through step by step, but just to give you an idea of what options are available to you, and academic technology will be able to assist you as you're maybe looking to implement any of these in your courses. So I'm on the Ready for Fall Teaching page. And this is just to show you quickly about some general organizing. I think a lot of you are aware or even experts at this by now, but you can see that there are a number of pages that have been built in. So instead of having all the content on the front page, lots of scrolling, if we go to moving your course online, you can see that there's a rich amount of content in here, and we have a couple videos that are embedded. I'm going to show you how to add those in as well, and just organizing content using some of the formatting options, just simply adding in bold and even indenting or using different bulleted lists are all easier ways to organize your content and keep things pretty seamless. So I'm going to go over to a different course, just our sandbox here, just to show you a couple other things. So I have just a very crudely developed page here as well, just to show you a couple different elements in here. And the main thing I wanted to show you, well, to start off, is how to embed these videos in. So on this page in particular, I can go to Edit Settings, and then we have our standard settings here. At the bottom, I do have a video. So a couple things that you are going to be looking at. In our toolbar up here, we do have an option that says Edit HTML Source, and in here it will give you all the HTML. You do not have to know all of it, but basically as you read through, you can see the content that you have typed in, and then there's some formatting in here. And I have already put my video in here, but it is an iframe. So if you have a YouTube video or anything else that you want to add in, I can go back over here to YouTube. Under Share, I have an embed option, and you will see embeds on lots of different types of content, and it will usually give you this iframe. So what I can do is I can copy that iframe out, and then I could go back over to my course. And so if I wanted to add that in farther down, I could do that as well. So, I can see that I wrote the word hello here, and I could just hit enter and put the iframe in. And if I hit update, now I have two different YouTube videos embedded in here. And so I can move that around, but I do have to use the iframe, or the HTML editor. A couple other things, I was on Wikipedia and there was a table in there. So we can use elements in here such as building tables. You can create a brand new one, put different rows and columns and settings in, but there are different types of content that you can pull over from other web pages that maybe the formatting's already in there. We also have copy over as a Word document, and a couple other formatting options too. So you can copy in as plain text, copy it from a Word document, and it helps to clean up some of the extra stuff that maybe isn't working so well. A couple other quick things on our toolbar here. You can do a record an MP3. You quickly wanted to give a verbal guidance to your students, or a quick video as well. These should be, especially the video, should be pretty short, but the video, but the recording of the audio and video are using something called Moodle, kind of a silly name. But that is also an option for an assignment. If you wanted students to record something back to you, that is also an option, but it is up here as well. So when I have all of my elements in here, I can hit record, I can say hello, hello, hit stop, and then I can upload that and insert it. And although it looks like this now, if I go to save and display, I already had one in there from previously, and so it's a quick little play button. So I'm going to go back here, and we're just going to quickly jump through a couple other things. One other option is called a lesson. This is a pretty robust feature in Moodle. So it does take a little bit of time to set up a really large lesson, but it's essentially, walking students through a process. So it's not a quiz or a test exactly, but it has question elements in it. So it doesn't mean that it's, an assessment, a final assessment, but more of a work through. And so you can have different options and decide, where one step takes you, or one student would, process through and go, have different questions that come up, or different areas that maybe they dig into. This is just a simple one question, that have some matching options in here, but it can go on rather deeply. So we can walk you through that possibility as well. Perusal, it is what's listed under one of our external tools. So this is an external option that is being used by a couple different faculty within Dickinson. So we can help you parse this out. It does bring some of the the standard Moodle elements into this course structure. Again, we have, when we're looking at add an activity or resource, we have a couple different options here. One of these is listed as an external tool. So that's why you see the little puzzle piece here. So if I add that in, this is where I get a number of different pre-configured tools. So before I was using Perusal, as I said. Also Pearson, Macmillan, McGraw-Hill have a number of different content repositories based on different textbooks that the students might be using. So you would know from your coordinator, from those distributors, if they have that. So we also have our Zoom Pro in here. So that was the one I was going to show you. But if you are unsure of what some of these are, that's okay. But if you do have a request from somewhere, we can walk you through and make sure that we have something enabled, or if it's possible. So I'm going to hit cancel on that. So when I am in here under my Zoom meeting, the Zoom meeting plugin gives you much more, many more options, and it's just like the page itself, and it can create different meetings related to your particular class. Feedback is another option. So this is more of just a survey. So instead of it being a quiz or even a lesson, you can have it set up so students can answer just one question or a few questions, but you can have it as anonymous. You can have them take it multiple times. So in this case, it was a simple, how are you doing today? And so far just one person has given their answer, meh. But you can have it so that you can do, a quick question at the beginning of class, or, before class begins, over, as sort of a homework feedback. So you can have the beginning of class as a discussion. There's also, under activity and resources, interactive content. It's H5P. So I'm not going to dig into exactly what the full robust options are for H5P, but it's interactive content. So there's lots of places that you can download H5P content and just use it. There are also a number of different pre-designed templates so that you can just start with this. So this was one that it was just an image hotspot. So I was able to upload an image, I was able to put a hotspot on it, add a picture, I could add some additional content. So this is a pretty basic one. But if I go back in here and I add a new one, can give it a description. It gives me this editor. So in this case, there were a number of different ones: accordion, image hotspots, that's the one I had used before, a collage. So you can kind of play around with some of this, and then you can configure it with your own content. But there are also ways that you can upload additional content. This is one that I downloaded from elsewhere, so I'll say I'm going to use that. Okay, and so this one was a dictation interactive content. So I'm just keeping everything as is there. And in this case, it just has a couple different options here for recording and dictation. So lots of different options. It's very wide ranging. But if you're looking for something, or maybe you've heard that H5P content is available elsewhere, a colleague or someone is using something, we can help you coordinate and get that in there. There are also databases. So again, if you have your students collecting a lot of information and you want them to be able to access it, now again, we do have Office 365, so there are possibilities of online spreadsheets and things like that. But this one, again, was one that I had downloaded that someone else had created, and so it was collecting different information and also organizing it and sort of displaying it in a different way. So I have add a new entry in here. And so in this case, it was just a number of different fields, URLs. I can also upload pictures into this one. So you can build your own databases as well with any number of different fields and how it's displayed and what kind of content it is collecting. And this was, let me go back here. There was again, just a slightly different database, adding in just work being completed by some students. So it's pretty basic, but it can get very robust as well. So that's my quick workshop on some of the advanced Moodle features. Of course, we do have other things that are listed sort of as advanced, as in quizzes and gradebook. I have some full videos on those as well. But since these were some things that we haven't covered yet, I thought that it would be a good introduction. And like I said, we're happy to sit down with you and look at your own courses and try to figure out what is going to be most usable and helpful for this semester.